Well, Andrew, how are you?
I'm actually doing amazing. I will say I'm coming off of sipping a drink that had mold in it, so it definitely threw me off a little
Sometimes
bit.
before you start interviewing a world-renowned Broadway act, you do need to let some mold slip between your molars.
It, Let some mold slip between your
Yeah,
molars is so right, Joe.
thank
Like
you.
sometimes you need like a slippery, wet slime to go down your throat
Shut
before
the
you
fuck
open
up.
it up again. You know.
I
But
I
how are
have
you?
I'm doing pretty well.
Okay.
I'm here. I have no eyebrows. I have I would say arguably no food in my system.
No food. A lot of love for the Chicago Bears.
I love bears,
Bears.
and Chicago comes second,
Okay.
and the animal comes third because I actually don't fuck with bears as an
No.
animal. They
No.
freak me out.
They freak me out, but they're sweet.
No, they're not. They're like the most evil. They're not evil, but like I was just reading because I'm getting into Reddit. I was reading someone talk about how to survive a bear attack, and they were basically like, if it's a black bear,
Save
and
it for the Patreon.
we also can't really like, you can't differentiate because some black bears are brown and some brown bears are black. So it's like, fuck it. But if it's a black bear, you basically like have to,
Like you're
you
dead.
stand a fighting chance. Like you got to run or don't listen to me. No one listened to me because oh no, you make yourself bigger. You open up your jacket and like make yourself and like be as
Oh,
threatening as possible, and then you back away and you keep it in your eyesight. Brown bear, girl,
you're dead.
it's like you
Do you know how I should run away from it?
no, you don't really run away from a brown bear. Like basically, like if you turn your back on a brown bear, you're toast. But basically, they don't eat humans, so they just want to like remove you as a threat. So the only chance you have is like maybe it won't fuck with you in the first place. You stay completely
Okay.
still. If it does come up to you, you got to immediately play dead, and make sure when you play dead, you cover like your arm, like your
Okay.
neck and your head with like your arms. But you stay limp. Let it hit you. Let it kick you. Let it nudge you. Let it think you're dead, and then you lay on that ground.
No.
I'm not joking. 30 to 45 minutes. You have to lay there once you hear it leave because
And
it stays in the area to see if you wake back up.
this is making me actually sick to my stomach. But you know what?
And that's
What
why
I'm learning here, Joe, is I got to get myself on Reddit. And because
I'm learning.
you know how to survive that. I would be dead in a damn second.
Well, I also think I'd be dead too. I don't think that those instincts are going to kick in for me.
Bears love me.
Well, bears love us, and we love bears, and that's tough. It's tough to know that going forward now. But if you and this is just one more note, and I'm talking to you, Andrew, and not to
Yeah.
our intelligent audience, and that was no disrespect to you. It just
No,
came out
I
of my
know I'm
mouth
an
that way.
intelligent audience
Yes.
member too sometimes.
I just know you have a fondness for a sweet creature.
Yeah.
If you see a baby bear, what are you doing? You're in the woods, you see a baby bear, what do you do?
I'm going to run away.
Okay, good.
Okay. Because if I saw a baby bear like before this conversation, I'd be like, that's so sweet. Yeah, and like try to
but
feed
because
it.
the mom's behind, the mom is watching, and like you go near her baby, you're
Mold.
yeah, your mold is a kind way to put it.
Well, speaking of a kind way to put it, I'm very excited for this episode.
I can't wait for this episode.
This is a dream come true
it
for
is.
me, for sure.
Yeah, no, it really is. I mean, like I think that our guest Ben Platt
Ben Platt.
needs no introduction. Like truly, he's been in our cultural ethos forever, and he's been in collectively the world's for.
And he's been in our well, he necessarily hasn't been in our comment sections, but a lot of people have been commenting Ben Platt in our comment section. So it feels like the right moment to have him in the room with us.
It really does, and it's almost a relief, I could say.
Oh, for
'Cause
sure.
it was such a long time coming.
I know. I was like, does he hate my guts? He didn't know who I mean, like, eventually, through meeting theater camp, recognized who we were. But I was like, he hates my guts. He didn't even know who I was.
And today Ben's coming on the podcast, and we're going to talk about all things childhood. We're going to talk about favorite Broadway shows. Get into, I would say, kind of the emotional reasons why someone like Ben chooses his art form, and like
Yeah.
what it feeds him as a person, which I find really fascinating. And then of course we're gonna play a little fuck, marry, kill at some Broadway shows,
Which, like, I'm excited to see how he takes that. Yeah.
because it's gonna, we're basically putting him in the hot seat.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah.
Good children hot seat.
Good children hot seat. You you do musicals, and now we're gonna tell you to kill musicals. I feel like that's his worst case situation.
Good children.
Hey, I'm Joe Hegyes.
And I'm Andrew Muscarella.
And this is
Good Children. We've spent the past 24 years growing together.
And now it's time for us to grow up. I think it sounded actually really good, unfortunately.
It was like the best it's ever been.
And
Well,
that's
of course.
that's the nature of our guest today.
We knew it was going to be amazing.
Oops.
We should do a trio group.
Yeah, let's start with that, actually. Let's
Do you
get that
want to
out of the
just
way.
like be a part of the podcast, like going
Yeah.
forward?
Of course.
Of, like days that I'm feeling sick, do you want to take place for me?
Yeah, no one will know.
No one will know.
It is crazy, like, before we even get into it, the way that for as long as Andrew has been on the internet, you have been omnipresent in our
Sort of
lives.
just haunting him
No,
without trying.
I mean like haunting in like a very good way, obviously. No, but yeah, you've been everywhere all at once. Even before I was on
We
the
both have
internet.
little medallions.
We have
and
medallions.
both
We have
have
mullets. I was like thinking about wearing a sweater today too.
Imagine it was matching outfits.
I was also.
I was
gonna-
actually thinking when I was getting dressed, like, uh-oh.
I should have messaged you and been like, we should do matching outfits, but we didn't do that.
It's okay. It's
But
almost
yeah,
too
no,
much.
I can't get away from you. Anytime I post one video to the internet, and I don't really post that much, it will just be like, Ben Platt. Didn't know Ben Platt had a podcast. And then I was talking to your brother recently. I saw him at a Now This event, and he was like, I don't see it. And I'm like, well, people do. It's familial.
I take it as a compliment.
Thank you. Me too. Me too.
Thank you so much for being here
Truly, of
today.
course.
It's a true honor to have you in this seat. Like in a really serious way, you have been part of the Good Children lore from day one. Like
Oh,
We
both
made it-
due to the physical similarities, but also due to the fact that you have definitely existed in our cultural reference point forever.
Forever.
Okay.
For
And
as long as you've been doing
we
anything.
made a list of dream guests. Like I would say
It was
a
like
few
week-
months into the
yeah,
podcast.
it was really early on.
Yeah, like 2 years ago, and you were probably number 5.
Oh.
So it really. It's
have you gotten
pretty
anyone else from the
special.
top 5?
We have.
We have
Trixie
was-
Mattel,
Julia
love
Fox.
Trixie.
Julia Fox,
Whoa.
and you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That
And
company
Keelan
is
Campbell.
what I
Oh.
work for.
It's for these moments.
Exactly. We still haven't gotten Kiki Palmer, but like
Oh.
we're
Yeah, we're
our
working
fingers
on
are
that.
crossed.
The queen.
Yes.
The queen herself.
She can do everything.
No,
But
yeah. I'm
that's for
trying to think
another
about
time.
like when I was introduced to you specifically. I mean, obviously it was Pitch Perfect, and we're not gonna harp on Pitch Perfect today because there's so much more.
Listen,
to
it
you
was a
than
wonderful
Pitch
film. I'm happy to harp
It
on
was an amazing film, and I want to let you know that I was sitting in that theater. Were you with me?
I don't think so. I
No,
don't think so.
I did this one personally.
For sure.
I think it changed my life truly because I was sitting there. I never sang before ever, and I only sang in the shower. And I was
So you
watching it.
sang?
Well, yeah, I sang in the shower when my parents left. I don't know why I was like so afraid to sing in front of people. It's just like I was very protective
I
over it.
understand.
But then I saw Pitch Perfect, and I was like, wait, I need to be in an a cappella group in college. So then, 2 years into college, I quit playing lacrosse, and I said, I'm actually going to join a cappella. And my mom said to me, to my face, oh, that's so sweet. You have a great personality. They can teach you how to sing.
Oh.
And then the rest is history.
Were
I was,
you already out during this stuff?
No,
Girl.
girl.
It took a
Uh-oh.
long time after acapella, which
I was gonna
really
say
says
when
a
you switch
lot.
from lacrosse to acapella, that's saying
No, those are my
something
Aka
to the world.
sisters. Yeah, no. Well, actually, that's how I met my girlfriend in college.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I sang Accidentally in Love, and then she came up to me afterwards and she said, I think I'm accidentally in love with you. And yeah, that's
It's like-
actually a crazy thing to say to
That's
somebody.
really smooth, actually.
That was really smooth. I
Whoa.
have to take a page from her book.
It's like Elle Woods in the musical of Legally Blonde
Mhm.
during Sirius saying, "But I'm seriously in love with you."
Wait, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely a moment. I didn't come out until I was 23 years old, and I'm 28 now, so.
Oh my God, how's the first 5 years?
Oh my God.
Weird. I would say.
Really crazy, actually. The first 5 years have been wild. I think the first
Pretty
3
good.
years, it was like I came out and COVID immediately happened. So I was like, 2020 is my year to
Mhm.
thrive.
And then they were like, "No,
Yeah,
it's your year to kind of stay inside."
absolutely.
But is that when this was born? No,
No.
2 years later, 22.
2022.
Yeah.
When did you come out?
we're fresh. I came out when I was like 13, when I was in 8th
Okay.
grade. I'm also like, I grew up in LA, and like
Yeah.
my family's in like my dad's in the business. Like I just was around gay people so
Yeah.
much.
What was it like, though? I feel like we always harp on, like, if we came out earlier, things would be different. But
Mhm.
what was it like coming out at 13?
Oh, fortunate for sure.
Yeah.
Like I think I didn't have to do a lot of like mental gymnastics only because
Mhm.
I had so many like Ring of Keys moments of being a kid and like seeing people and feeling like I identified with them more so than even realizing like what this sort of sexuality
Yeah.
part of it was. It was more just like identity wise. like meeting gay men who work in the theater and like because I started working when I was like 9 years old and being like I identify with these people. And then as soon as I had any language, I called my parents and was just like, I have to tell you this thing, and they were like, we know, like we're all aware. My school kind of handled it in a weird way because I was at like a Jewish day school at that point, and there was only like 40 kids in my grade, and I was the only one like having this kind of conversation.
Yeah.
So they had me like kind of hold a symposium with my whole grade where like they could ask me questions about it.
Wait,
Which like probably was really well intentioned, but ultimately like was mortifying. Yeah. I didn't know, like, I didn't have any
were you like happy to do it?
authority
Were
at
you
the time.
anxious?
Yeah, and then I think
Okay.
as it sort of like went away, like in the years that followed, I kind of was like,
What the fuck did
I
I
don't
do?
know that I should have been asked to
They're
do
like,
that.
oh, hey, class. So we have one gay person here that's going to take all of the questions.
They were like, how do you know? I was like, I don't know.
It was also like a big, and that was you coming out to your whole entire class.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I
crazy.
told my like couple of my friends first, and then like they kind of got like word got out while I was on this school trip, and my principal, who was like trying to be very enlightened at the time, was like, let's all have an open conversation about it. And I was like, I think it's private though. But it was very loving.
It's like people are like, I
That's
don't agree.
great.
I don't agree. Actually,
That kind of brings me to our favorite question to ask. It's the thesis of the podcast. Were you a good child?
Yeah,
I imagine.
I was a
so.
good child.
You give off the
you
vibes
give
of
good
being a
person
child.
still.
That's nice. That's very nice. I'm one of 5, so it was a very raucous and like many layered household with a lot of different things going on and different layers of good children, and some like more rebellious than others. And I just like had a very clear. Well, I was pretty like introverted in general, but I had a very clear like from a very young age, like this is what I want to do. And I started doing musicals when I was like 6 years old, and then working professionally when I was like 9 years old. So I think I really stayed in my lane and like was pretty. Didn't cause a lot of grief, like I think, and like any like mischief happened in the privacy of like a cast party. You know what I mean?
Right, of
Are-
course.
are you
where
all
it always
singers?
happens.
Everybody can sing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The my brothers have like pursued it a little more in their adult life, but my sisters don't really. But they both also have lovely voices.
and you fall in the middle.
I'm number 4 out of 5.
Number 4
Just
out
my
of 5.
my brother Henry's the only younger
Who
one.
also has an amazing voice.
Beautiful,
He was somebody that I guess I was introduced to him through you,
Mm-hmm.
just like posting on socials. But I
Of
remember
course.
you guys. Do you guys have childhood videos together
Of
too?
course, yeah.
The singing. Was there a defying gravity moment?
There's a loathing. There's a
A
what is this
loathing,
feeling?
that's what it was.
That video really.
Yeah.
Watching that, I was like, "Holy shit!" It's so nice to know that across the world, like there were other gay kids
Of
doing the
course.
exact same shit.
Yeah.
Every day, all day.
But
And
you
even
had
when
it
I was
down
like
pat.
going and doing like regional shows and things as a kid, I like the stuff I cared the most deeply about was like the backyard shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Those I got like a fog machine for one of my birthdays. I got clip-on lavalier microphones.
Yes.
Of course.
Like really
Yeah.
tried to up the production value.
You're really in the lore.
And like just sort of traumatized my girl cousins by like consistently casting one of them as the lead and the other
Exactly.
not. Like,
Oh my god, yeah. Like that's actually the cast list.
of course,
within
callbacks
family.
on the door.
Were
like,
you actually doing that?
Oh my god, of course.
Wait.
I wish I had
Yes.
that like the reference points to be able to do that because I would have been you would have been in callbacks once a week.
I would have. Well, it kind of felt like that, Joe. And then I wouldn't make it.
No,
If I
well,
didn't make it,
you'd
it
always,
would've been-
well, I had no other friends. So it would
Did you
always
ever
be
Alpha and Glinda together?
Of
We did Defying Gravity
course.
a few times.
We did Defying Gravity a few times, but
Is this
so-
already on the internet for somewhere for me to find? Okay,
Yes.
nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
we wouldn't sing together really.
lip
ever.
synced
We
for our
lip synced for our
lives.
Okay,
lives.
so you
always.
kind of knew all along,
Yeah,
like
for
where
sure.
the culture was heading.
Exactly.
Because I saw Wicked when I was in middle school, and then I came over to your house, and I
And
was like,
introduced
"Wait, I
me to
just
it.
literally saw the best musical of my entire life. We have to do this song." And you knew the lyrics immediately.
Well, I pulled up A to Z lyrics. If anyone remembers that
course.
amazing
Of course.
website.
Still.
Is
Of
it
course.
still operating?
Of course, 100%. When I sit down at the piano with like friends to
open.
sing random pop songs, A to Z lyrics.
Oh wow. Okay. So I pulled up A to Z lyrics, got Defying Gravity off book immediately, and then I remember I guess it was computer. I'm playing it from a computer, but it was really. That was my intro, I think, to theater in general. Was probably Defying Gravity. I probably like The Lion King before that, but
Sure.
for sure.
that I was like 5 and
The
not.
Wicked is the coming of age, you know what I mean?
For
Of
sure.
course.
Lion King is the
sure.
like, oh, what is this?
Yeah.
And then the Wicked is like, this is who I am.
This is
It-
yeah,
and
it was a
it's who we
defining
all
moment.
are.
Yeah, it was a defining moment. Definitely, I think for our childhood as well, because we would always just like sit in Joe's playroom and just make videos and post them to the internet
So
until we started getting
sweet,
bullied,
guys.
and then we were like, probably at the time that you came out and we were having a discussion to your whole entire school, we actually said, you know what,
We have to stop doing
this isn't for us.
Nothing is better than the Confessions of a Shopaholic. Like,
Yeah.
There's just nothing better than
But
that.
that is something that I look back
That's
on
like
and I'm
top 5 internet moments of,
it's
of the
it's
decade.
so sick though. It's like it was right there, and I still
Yeah.
You
I
just
s-
needed time. You
I
need to
needed-
bake.
like 6 more years after that. But
How old were you in that video?
I think it was 15.
Of course,
was
right in the
15.
muck of it.
Yeah. Like
Ugh.
at the age where like people are like sneaking out and going on dates, and
Yeah.
I'm doing like Q&As continually.
Ahead of your time, honestly.
Yeah,
And there
no.
are so many of them too. I
There
feel
are three.
like.
There's 3 back-to-back videos doing the exact same thing. People were asking me a
And-
lot of questions.
Were you taking it on like what video platform?
It was like photo booth for
Photo
sure.
booth.
Yeah.
Of course.
You and the Lord video too.
Yeah. So so you started working, it was, I know this
9?
because of when we saw you in concert. We got to see this
Yeah.
past winter.
Oh my gosh,
right?
yes.
Yeah, we were there. It
And
was
you brought
amazing.
out Kristen Chenoweth.
Of course. Oh, that's not you were
That
there.
was-
Yes.
Amazing. Yes.
And that was truly the
Groundbreaking.
biggest gag of all time.
I think we screamed.
For
I mean,
sure.
everyone
I think
was
everyone
screaming.
was screaming.
That was like the second night. That was a fun one.
Yeah.
And she gave that little speech about you that was so heartwarming that you worked with her when you were 9 years old.
Yeah, we did Music Man at the Hollywood Bowl, which is like there's the little lisping kid went
Yeah.
up. That was my first thing I auditioned for and got. And she was this was like pre her being Linda, so she was like, I mean, it was just like the most wonderful first, like bitten by the bug.
I can
I
imagine.
was like destroyed forever.
Yeah. What was that feeling like?
Yeah.
I've sort of felt like, I mean, from what I gather, both in terms of my own memories and just like hearing about me from people who are older than me, like my parents and stuff, I think that I was pretty like in my own world, like imagination wise, and like wasn't super like extroverted. And so I think it was like sort of the first time I felt free to like do my own thing and feel like my full zhuzh and like really like figure out what I have to offer. And I think I like came the most alive doing something where I had a very particular, obviously specifically singing and performing, but also something where I had like a very particular thing that was expected of me. I'm like very controlled chaos where like I know exactly what the parameters are and I can like feel excited and alive within that, but feel safe that there are like guardrails of like my lines and my staging and my cast. And
Right.
I think that's like my personality as I've gotten older has stayed very much like that combo is my favorite combo of like there's like a little bit of rigidity, so there's like some safety, but then within that there's like discovery and fun.
Like
And
room
Yeah.
to play.
It's crazy that you started at 9. It's like,
Like,
do
my
you feel like
first
you
tr-
still had your childhood
totally.
with? Okay.
Because my parents would only let me do theater growing up. They
Okay.
wouldn't let me audition for like film and TV and stuff because they wanted me to like be a child. And
Thank God.
and then when I went to high school, they were like, we're gonna stop all the working and you're just gonna go and like be a high school student. And I was super lucky that I went to high school that had amazing theater and like improv and choir and all that stuff. So like I was able to just go and really like grow and be a person and meet my friends, all of whom are like still my real close friends.
Like have your social life, go to the mall, do
Exactly.
the whole thing.
And then
Okay.
as soon as I left high school, that's when I sort of like left.
No college.
Then I grew up quickly.
Well-
I was supposed to go to Columbia for like art history or something.
Okay.
But I deferred to do Pitch Perfect because I got it the summer before I was
So you
supposed
went
to
to
go.
college.
I deferred.
Basically. Yeah.
And then I did go the next fall, but I only lasted 7 weeks, and then I auditioned for Book of Mormon and got
Okay.
that. So I left to go do Book of Mormon.
Was Pitch Perfect at Tulane? Where was it?
It was
That was-
LSU.
LSU.
In Baton Rouge.
Okay. You know, I was seeing that campus. I was like, I gotta get to that campus.
I'm shocked it didn't influence your college decision.
No,
process.
because well,
Actually.
I definitely looked into it because it was Pitch Perfect influenced it, and so did Zoe 101. Because I was like, I'm gonna
Oh
go
my
to
God.
Pepperdine.
Yeah.
Of course,
Stunning.
they have the best dorms in all of the country.
I made my parents drive past that on like my family vacation when I was a kid.
Pepperdine?
Just
Just to see
it.
Zoe 101.
Yeah.
But then you just see like a huge cross. And you're
Yeah,
kinda like,
it was definitely. I was like, okay, it's not.
I
it's
did this youth theater program called the Adderley School in the Palisades all through my childhood.
Yeah.
And we like when you got older into the like fancier like class where like it's like the good kids doing like a really intense show, they would sometimes let us perform at Pepperdine at their like really pretty stage. So I know it as like a stunning auditorium, and I don't think I really like took in the kind of Christianity of it all.
Yeah, that makes
until
sense.
later.
I feel like I mean like we wouldn't have done that. Well, I probably would have actually.
You would
Unfortunately,
have.
at that time,
been really taking in the
because
Christianity.
I was in college, the cantor in my chapel choir. Yeah.
Whoa.
Please join us in singing. Yeah, that was me. I've
So
lived
wait, you're
many
not a
lives.
member of the tribe?
No.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Are you
I'm
Italian?
I'm Italian.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's
I'm
tricky.
your Italian
It
sister in
is.
faith. Yeah.
It's tricky.
Yeah,
we
it is
we have
very.
a lot in common. A lot of like loud emotional communication, curly hair,
Curly hair,
chest
but
hair.
it's also like
food.
Long Island
Mhm.
Italians and Long Island Jews are also like we're like synonymous.
Yeah, totally. The Venn diagram's like almost just a circle.
for sure.
Yeah.
My mom, I'm always saying schwitzing. I don't know if I'm like
Something else we were constantly talking about is like the childhood references in pop culture.
Of
So
course.
for us, it was like a Zoe 101. It was like a Hannah
Mhm.
Montana. It was all of that kind of like peak Nickelodeon Disney Channel era. Were you even paying attention to that, or were you focused on?
1,000,000%.
Okay,
Okay.
great.
That's a Raven,
Yeah.
For sure.
ride or die.
Yes.
Lizzie McGuire
Mhm.
and Lizzie McGuire film even more so.
Yes, especially.
Even
Paolo.
Stevens sometimes.
Okay.
Like sometimes it would scratch the itch and sometimes it was kind of too chaotic for me.
Well, it was also
Pretty.
paced in California, right?
yes,
Like
yes.
that show to me, I was always like, these are. I mean, it was Sacramento, I'm pretty sure, but I was like, this is LA. Like,
Yeah.
this is what it's
All-
like.
did that
Every,
one
it's
LA
all
kid. It's all Christy Carlson Romano and Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
And a lot of Nickelodeon too. Love Hey Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Arnold made me want to live in New York. I was like, I don't know. Is it New York? Is it Chicago?
I think it's like an amalgamation of a few different
Everything.
cities.
but that's
Yeah.
city life. I was like,
Yes.
this is amazing. He has such a cool, like, weird loft
his
with his
bedroom,
like
that
glass,
window.
like greenhouse. Like, what is
Yes.
that? And his like little, what
His
I
little
thought was a skirt.
Yes,
Mm.
he was very queer coded. Arnold was
Totally.
extremely, like, at the very least, non-binary.
Of
There was
course.
something happening there.
Yes, Arnold and Helga both
Yeah,
are on
actually,
the spectrum
yeah,
of,
both of
of-
them.
on the gender.
Helga Pataki. Yeah, those shows I feel like are so in like the DNA of who we are
100%.
now.
Also, the
for-
Brandy Cinderella was huge for me. personally.
Okay.
Very big. Because my first show I did when I was like 6 at the youth program was Cinderella, and
Who are you?
Paolo Montalban, the guy who played the prince, the like gorgeous man who played the prince, came and like did like a workshop with us.
Oh wow.
And I just remember being like, I want to do this, and also like, what's going on?
Yeah. What role were
What
you?
is
He's
this
so gorgeous.
feeling?
I was the prince, of course.
Well, of course.
At
And
6?
Meaning, yeah, I was
Locked
at 6
in.
in a like a
Wow.
little sparkly blue vest, and I had like 12 lines, and it was
Wow.
amazing. But anyway, Brandy Cinderella was big.
Okay.
And hit, do you guys know hit clips? Is that before your time?
Oh yeah.
No,
of
we were,
course.
of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
I was gonna
What
say
were-
like
what were on your hit clips?
Yeah.
NSYNC,
Britney,
but
for
also
sure.
it was during the Spy Kids
Oh
time.
my god.
And so I remember playing like a spy game with my sister where we treated the hit clips as like spy gadgets.
Yeah, for sure, doing the
So,
exact same shit.
Just got a really clear vision of that while we were
Yes.
talking about this.
Carmen and Junie.
Of course.
I
the
had
warts.
such a
I had
crush.
warts.
On Genie.
Yes, I had I was always actually like real warts.
Yes, I had like from sweaty hands. I used to get some warts on my
Same.
fingers,
I
and
was
I was
very
like,
warty.
representation.
Yes. Yeah.
You were very warty. Yeah.
I was
the feet.
warty. I had some wart issues for sure. We don't have to get into it.
No, because we already have, unfortunately.
But like, I think that Junie Cortez was a big crush of mine
Yeah.
as a kid.
His
for
dad too.
Well, for sure, Antonio Banderas.
That's-
I mean,
yeah.
For sure. It's like,
And Carla Gucci. I don't know how to pronounce her last name.
were you the whole?
Who
Did
plays
we
the
pull up
mom.
the IMDb?
Well, it's just an amazing cast.
It is.
It's
Yeah,
an amazing
put,
cast.
Put it here with the phonetics.
They need a
side.
revival. Oh, maybe.
I
Let's
think
keep
they've
in
done
there.
it.
They've done it, and
I
it
think
didn't.
they've done it.
But
Yeah.
with them as the parents, or with totally new people? Because now,
Oh,
Daryl is a father.
yeah.
So
They should.
Interesting.
Well, at the very maybe let's get back into it. Actually,
Let's-
let's do
yeah.
another Spy Kids.
Should we do it?
Yeah, perfect. Right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, for sure.
queer spy kid.
Queer Spy Kids. I would love that.
I'm sure. I mean, to me, every Spy Kid was queer.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so were those hands.
I mean, all
those
characters in all
thumbs.
media
Those
are queer.
thumbs.
So.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it's like actually really great to hear, and like just like any child who worked, I'm always like, what was that experience like for you? Clearly, you said it was great. I think it's so fascinating that I assume like letting your emotional release out more so on stage. And did you clock that as a kid? Like you knew that was the case, or was that something that like you looked back on at some point in your career and you were like, oh wait, this actually is something that's like kind of therapeutic and like almost a tool for me.
I think as I got a little, like when I was like 11-ish, and I did this show called Caroline or Change, which is a Tony Kushner and Janine Tesori musical that was like more sort of artistically heightened in a way that I hadn't experienced before, and there was like a character to actually like bite into and like real drama. I had mostly done like very sweet like Sound of Music and Music Man and Camelot and the things you do as a young kid, and that was the first time where it was like a little more challenging material. So that's the first time I can remember like actually clocking that there's like an emotional roller coaster involved, and there's like an emotional like gearing up that's required, and like a release and
Right.
craving that feeling. And yeah, I'm definitely grateful that I was limited to like a very particular type of experience, and that my parents had the knowledge and the reference point to like be able to tell the difference between like an experience that would be really fulfilling or that was worth trying to go and get, and something that like could wait till I was an adult.
Right. And I'm sure that shaped you a lot now as an adult when it comes to like picking a role or saying yes to a project, like chasing that feeling. Like how often, I actually have no idea how anything works in the industry, so it could be a complete incorrect question, but like how often is there something that comes across your desk where you are like, this might not make me feel the way I want to feel?
It's a good question. I mean, I think in terms of like film and stuff, I'm still very much in the part of my career where I'm auditioning for almost everything that I'm wanting to do. It's not like things are coming
Right.
across my desk as much, but in the theater more so, it's like a little more of like usually a meeting or a collaboration or like, do I want to do this? And I think definitely, yes, it comes into play more so with theater because it's like something you're going to be living every day, like in repetition and experiencing over and over again. Whereas with a film, if there's challenging moments or challenging material, it's like kind of a one-time experience and you can like leave it forever. And with theater, it has to become like a practice. So I definitely think I'm like have like a little bit of a tougher picker, especially having done Evan Hansen and Parade and a lot of shows that have like a lot of difficult, heavy material, which is so worth it when it's a great piece and it's like worthy of that. But I do think I try to be judicious about like, is this really worth me kind of like chucking myself into it emotionally?
Right.
Because I have no interest in doing it, obviously, if it's going to be like a half-assed situation.
Yeah.
And it's also wonderful to do like a joyful thing like theater camp or,
Yeah. And theater
Which
camp,
theater camp was
what a joyful
unbelievable.
film.
Thanks, guys.
Truly
It
unbelievable.
really, really was so great.
And I felt like I was living, well, because you had so much archival footage in there too. And then when I saw that too, everything clicked. We were like, Ben needs to come on the podcast because it just makes sense. But
Did you guys do your school musicals?
No.
I directed,
Oh.
I assistant directed 2 of my shows.
What are the shows?
It was Anything Goes,
Wow.
which was like the most fun I ever had in high school. Like, actually, the only fun I had in high school was probably directing that show. And then I did Barnum.
Oh my God, deep cut.
Yes, it was a really deep cut, and that
Kind
was
of a precursor to The Greatest Showman.
It was just before it. It was like 2013, I think, and then like Greatest Showman was 2014 or 15, and I was like, wow, we really were right there. We were just about to hit it.
I love it.
And then we did like Turn Back the Clock, if you're familiar with that.
No. Oh my
I don't
God.
think
Oh my God, you're
anyone
A
is-
title that's
bad
gone
on-
over my head.
Yeah, no, I don't
I'm
think anyone
embarrassed.
is familiar.
Let's
It was
turn
from,
back
like, the
clock.
50s. It was really like, it was kind of a crazy show to put on in high school, but that was like the closest I came because I was too afraid to touch it. Like, I was like so deeply closeted and like also so anxious that I was like, I can't even imagine
Yeah.
standing in front of a room and singing or auditioning or doing anything like that.
I think it was the anxiety that was the whole, like holding us back for sure. I did community theater when I was growing up, but it was like the director would just do a bunch of different songs and put them all together. So I was doing like Girls Just Want to Have Fun, but Kids Just Want to Have Fun, and he would just like rewrite the whole thing. And I was like,
I would love
That's
to meet
inclusive.
that man.
did you would come?
It is. I would go.
It was
yeah.
very inclusive. Yeah, I remember I was Spock in one of them. It was just like a huge. It felt nice. It was in a basement of a church, but I left it behind me.
It's so
And
interesting.
It's one of
'cause,
my
like,
biggest regrets.
the anxieties take such different, like I feel like it sort of comes along with queerness like in
Yeah.
some form or another. For me, it's like I'm like very socially anxious. So the idea
Yeah.
of like carrying on a convo or meeting new people or being in a situation where I'm having to like consistently just like express myself as myself, like that makes me feel so nervous and always has. But then something about being on stage and like having a task and being in front of people and knowing like what is expected of me feels like so calm and easy. But it's like it feels like you guys are so the opposite. It's
so
very
opposite.
interesting.
I think
Yeah,
it's
I can
both
talk
for
to
me,
anybody.
honestly.
I can
You
talk
could've
to
fooled me.
anybody,
Thank
but
you.
like even it was like so low stakes, and I'll never forget. I was 10 years old, and before I went on to that basement church theater, people were banging on the bathroom door because I was like literally sick to my stomach with anxiety before I got on the stage, and it still happens to this day. Like we do live shows. Once we're on stage, it's like fine,
Yeah.
even though I'm like feeling it. But I
you
wish
can
I wish I had
eventually, once
that.
you're adjusted, you can enjoy the feeling.
Because I feel like it's because you feel so seen on stage.
Very exposing.
You're very exposing, but it's so interesting that you're introverted, but you get on stage and you're just like emoting freely.
My anxiety often manifests as like thinking about what's to come or like worrying
Yeah.
about like bad scenarios of what's going to happen in the future or like rehashing embarrassing things that have already happened.
yeah.
So it's like I really struggle to be entirely like in the moment. And I
Yeah.
feel like there is no choice when you're thrown out on stage but
No.
to be in the moment because it's like everything is like suspended in a
Yeah.
weird way. And I think I'm like addicted to that like set of circumstances of like suddenly there's like no choice but to like be where you are.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm as good at that anywhere else. So I'm trying to apply that to life and
Right.
experiences.
The whole
Yeah.
world's a stage.
The whole
You
world's a
know?
stage.
I've heard that before.
The internet's a
And
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Speaking
for
of-
sure it's the worst stage on the planet. but
Literally
it's
the
definitely
worst.
a stage.
For the speaking of stages, when it comes to your own personal music career, when did you start your own personal music? 2019?
Yeah, like my first album I think came out in 2018.
2018. Was it Sing to Me Instead?
It was Sing to Me Instead. Go off.
Well, I will also say, and again, it's just you have followed me. Well, I've followed you through it. It because it wasn't like, I mean, it was a very queer album.
Totally.
You're singing about your own personal experiences. So I think it was like, for me, listening to it, I would listen to like Share Your Address or things like that. And I'm like, wait, this is crazy. And at the time just came out. So it was like helping me through the come out process. I will say your most underrated song, to me personally, is Rain.
I was gonna say Rain.
Wow,
I remember you
guys.
showing
That's
me Rain for the first
my,
time.
it's actually
Truly.
one of
That's
my
my
favorite
husband's favorite
songs.
song of mine.
It's,
Aw.
well, that makes sense. It's one of the, it truly is one of the best songs.
Thanks.
Like there was, my friend took a video of me, because you do it at a gas station. I would watch that video all the
Yes.
time. Yeah. There's like
Yeah.
Rain.
we shot overnight at a grody
You're
gas
doing
station.
something with
Loved
your
it.
feet. Like you're doing like the backwards dancing. No, it's really, really amazing.
Thanks.
But what was, like, who are your influences when it comes to music?
I think it shifts. Like I think when I first started writing my own music or feeling like I was really craving writing my own music, I was obviously coming out of spending a lot of time in musical theater, so
Mhm.
obviously things were going to remain somewhat like piano heavy
Yeah.
and like vocal forward and like storytelling and like I wasn't trying to like get too far away from that stylistically because that's ultimately what I love to sing anyway.
Yeah.
So definitely some of that, but my parents played a lot of like James Taylor, Carole King, Paul
Okay.
Simon, like
Yeah.
in the house, and I think that and Joni Mitchell, like that's where I, in terms of like introspective, interesting, like very plaintive, like honest
Mhm.
songwriting. That's I think where my main inspo came from,
Yeah.
and then Sam Smith was like huge for me because they were writing with like express pronouns and
Mhm.
queerness and
Mhm.
the aesthetic was queer and like also it was like as beautiful and vocal as like Adele. Like it was just
Mm.
like there hadn't really been that, at least
Yeah.
that I had experienced.
In the Lonely Hour, like really fucked me up.
Fucked
I was
everything
like,
up
oh
in the best way.
wow, yeah, it was really special.
And like I love the Troys and the Little Nas's and
Of course.
like I love when there's like a sexuality and like a confidence and an aggression. Like I think that's important and incredible. But I'm just like a lot meeker and like more like sappy, I think.
Yeah.
And so to see also some artists who are being expressly queer who are like a little more like mushier. I think
Yeah.
that was like a really inspirational to me of like, oh, I can have both of those things at
Yeah.
once.
It is nice that you like, because you grew up in theater, but you didn't want to stray away from it. Because I feel like there are a lot of people who are in the theater world that when they start their own music, they want to get so far away from like still having that like theater-esque tone or, the melodies or things like that. But I will say your music is like very emotional and very hard to sing because I am in the shower and I'm like, why the fuck did he try to hit that note? Or why the fuck did you hit that note?
It's by
And
design so no one else
It's
can
no,
sing.
actually, like Dear Evan Hansen, which one is it? Oh, it's just Waving Through a Window. That last note, what the hell?
Just let it just open up.
No,
let it
We've
rip.
been
No, I've been
opening up
trying to
on
open
road
up.
It's a B flat, you got it.
for many, many, many years.
Yeah,
An
it's
easy
just-
B flat.
an easy B flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an easy crack for sure.
I feel like the Paul Simon, the Joni influences really came out for Honey Mind. Like like
Mhm.
that was very clearly like such a like not psychedelic, but kind of psychedelic, like that like 70s, 60s
Totally.
like freedom pop sound.
Do you
And
like a psychedelic?
Of course.
There it is.
yeah, like I feel like that's very clear from that album. And
Famously, we came up with the name for the album while we were on mushrooms, me and my husband.
Love that.
Yes,
Love
yes.
that. I need a good mushroom trip because I've only had one and it was a horrible mushroom trip. So I haven't done it yet.
You got to really pad the circumstances
Okay.
in the best way possible. You
What's
gotta-
the ideal mushroom trip like scenery?
something natural,
Okay.
some sort of beautiful scenery, some sort of calm. Like I love a mountain, I love a hike, I love a pool, I love an ocean, anything
Love
like that. And I would say the biggest thing is that nothing is required of me for at least like 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah.
Like it's
Okay.
like there's no chance of like having to get on a call with someone and pretend to be a person. There's no chance of like any responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
You have to really put the time away so that there's no like re-entering the world before you're ready kind of thing.
yeah.
So we just did it wrong, Joe.
well, yes, we definitely did it wrong. I'll never forget. We were in our first Williamsburg apartment, and it was like tiny, and it was just like winter, and we were like peaking. We were like peak shrooming, and this was Andrew's first time doing shrooms, my like second time, and
And so
But
I-
overall positive.
No.
Okay.
For me, I mean, for me, it was very positive. For me,
Okay,
I connected
I
with Lana
will
Del Rey's
say-
music in a way I never did before, and it really
Whoa.
changed everything.
And I connected in a very different way to that experience. But me and Joe are very different people, but we're also very similar. I think that like also our friends throughout the years, like Joe gets really deep and like talks really deep.
Sure.
I can get there too, but this was a moment for me where it was two people that we kind of recently met.
Well, you recently met.
I recently met them, and they would just talk about the most deep things ever, and I just felt like I couldn't connect. So now I'm like in a small apartment, our apartment, with the four of them, and they're like, "We're gonna drink mushroom tea." I'm like,
Well, I've
"Wait,
never done
I love tea.
vis-a-vis tea.
yeah," and
It's-
it tasted amazing.
Interesting. It tastes horrible.
I thought it tasted
It
great.
tastes horrible.
It tasted like berries to me.
I think
Sure.
immediately of Hannah drinking the opium tea and the pilot of Girls. But
Stop.
anyway.
It was truly, it felt like an episode of Girls. And at the peak of it, as like one of our friends is like sobbing and processing like a birth trauma
No,
that
she was
not her
yeah,
own.
Oy.
birth on the floor.
And
Yeah,
Andrew's like having a mental breakdown. The doorbell rang, and that was a nightmare situation.
And who was it?
it was
Well-
our doorman, like just delivering packages because
But
we're
no, I
living in a
understand.
building.
But to even interact with a single other,
And I was like the
worst
one who
nightmare.
had to do it because it was our apartment, and I was like, I can't make it. Like for
Shaking
the first
in
time
the
in my
corner.
life, I was like, I can't make Andrew do something for me. Like
No.
like he is clearly the one who needs the help here. And
Yeah,
it was just
my husband
I like
is the interactor.
swung open that door, and I was like, thank you so much, and slammed it shut. And it was just
And then I
the scariest moment of my life.
yeah,
made it
locked
through,
myself in the
Yes.
room.
You did it.
Yes.
But yeah, there's nothing worse than interacting with an unwanted other person when that's happening.
No.
Also, this tea sounds fucked up.
The tea was. I don't know how much was in that.
No idea. I'll never.
You just
find
gave
out.
it. You just gave it.
I just gave it a shot.
Shot.
I gave it a shot, and then I
Okay, well,
locked
don't-
myself in my
don't-
room.
Don't
Let that
give
like,
up on it. Yeah,
okay.
well, you'll come back to it at a time when it's like you're ready to.
So not a
give it
small
another shot.
apartment in Williamsburg with 3 other people. two
Sure.
that I don't really know. Okay.
Totally.
I'll be in nature next time.
Yeah, exactly.
Love
When it's warm and it's sunny.
when it's warm,
you know.
and I can put my phone away, and I'm not like
Exactly.
I was like connecting with my ancestors. It was a weird
Well,
experience.
that's not
We don't-
necessarily bad.
No, it was actually kind of great. It was kind of healing. And then I left there, and I was like,
think
everybody in
we're
my
talking
family
you
is
back into-
everybody in my
Yeah.
family is gay. And then I was like, maybe that wasn't correct. But I still think that.
To go back to what you said earlier, Brittany and Sync hit clips.
Mm.
Were they like pivotal for you as a child? That kind of pop.
Totally. Well, I think I just like my sister Hannah was the closest in age to me. Henry is also gay, and so like when he became a little older, like we were able to bond over. We have almost the identical tastes, but when I was like that young, I had the most in common with her, and her biggest loves were Brittany and Sync, Christina, like that culture, and so I just wanted to be along for the ride and like loved being able to like love the same stuff as
Yeah.
her. I mean, I thought Justin was like really cute, and all of them were cute, but like I don't think I was like ride or die in terms of
yeah.
like it was more just like this is the culture, and my sister is so in love that like I want to be part of this.
It is so lucky, I think, growing up. All of us have
an
an
older
older
sister.
sister. I feel like that is such an important thing when you're
Huge.
growing up as a gay kid. Like to have that
Huge.
person who is like the tastemaker
Yep.
and can put you onto the cool shit and just like you trust with has like a little bit of like it's just like access to femininity that you would not get
To
ordinarily.
Barbies,
to
to
Barbies,
Barbies,
to being
especially.
babies.
You didn't need to ask for a Barbie dream house because there was already one.
It was
you know
right
what I mean?
there.
And my sister was dressing me up in dresses. It was nice.
My sister
It
has
was
like an
real
Elle
life.
Woods like pillbox pink Barbie
Oh my
on
god.
display, and I was just always like,
Elle Woods.
Were you a Barbie fan?
of course. I mean, loved. I was a huge Wizard of Oz and Judy Garland were like my biggest obsession.
Yeah.
So like I used to watch the movie every day after school, and I would dress up like Dorothy, and I would pretend my dog was Toto, and I had the little Polly Pocket where her shoes light up, and like this whole little like play set. And I had a Dorothy Barbie that also had light up shoes. So in the
course.
context of that, yeah, Barbie was important.
Wizard of Oz is, I mean, obviously, and this I feel like culturally in the present moment, it's very obviously has stood such a crazy test of time. But I do love the fact that it is just a litmus test for being gay.
100%.
Like if you're a child who connects with that, it's immediately. I mean, you're a friend of Dorothy. It
Yeah,
just
right.
historically,
And it's a gorgeous. I mean, like the color in that film too is genuinely gorgeous.
Stunning.
Stunning.
I just was on a trip with some friends who had never seen it, and we finally watched it for the first time.
Really? Never
I was
seen
like,
Wizard of Oz.
and I know it's kind of gross.
I'm like,
And,
those are your friends?
No, she's
She's
from the UK, and it wasn't as much part of their
Okay,
culture.
okay.
But I was nervous because I'd built it up so much over so many years, and while we were watching it, I was like, this holds up.
It holds
Yeah.
up. I just watched it over
It
Thanksgiving.
really is wonderful. And it's
Yeah.
also not as like ramblingly long as I thought as a child because
No.
when you're a kid, it's like 2 hours. It's like, what?
Mhm.
But now it's like, no, it's like the story really moves at a clip.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she picks up each friend real fast.
She does.
And then we're on to the task and we're back home.
My one note is that Lion did not need a second song.
No, yeah, King of the Forest.
Truly did not need
It does
that.
come to a grinding halt.
Yes, it is shocking. It is shocking. It's
I did love the like the rug cape.
It's
and
so
the kind of
gay.
flower pot
yeah,
crown thing.
that part I was like, all like he is such a. I mean, they're all so queer coded, but
Of course.
otherwise, I was like, wrap it up.
Always wondered what does dye my eyes to match my gown mean.
I have always,
What
always
does
been
that one?
haunted.
She's in like
Dye
this
my
nail salon. Also
eyes.
loved the callback in Wicked. We can talk about Wicked, but the callback to with the birds with the nails.
Yes.
But her getting her like pampering done, and she's like, "Can you even dye my eyes to match my gown?" And I was like, "Is she asking if they can like do magic, or is there
Right.
actually something you do as a human being, as a girl at the time, where you like dye your eyes? Does that just mean like mascara
Contact.
or like
It has
An
haunted me
eyeshadow?
since I was a child.
every time I watch it, I'm like,
A
what
colored
the fuck
contact?
do you mean?
And then I was like, maybe she means. I used to be like, is it the reverse? Like, does the gown need to be brown? Like, because it was like the more logical option there. But yeah, that is. That
is it like
sticks with me.
color contacts
Yeah,
in
I'm, I'm
1939?
getting
Like,
color contacts from that.
From Judy?
From Judy. Your dog was Toto.
And my childhood dog was named Toto. Yeah.
Oh, really?
It was
Was
a
it
big
influ-
movie in my house.
was
that
he a little
obviously-
dog?
He was a schnoodle. He was a miniature schnoodle, but we fed him too much.
I
food.
was about to say he had some meat on
so
those bones.
Yeah, he was anything but miniature actually. But he was a sweet dog. But my mom like is the biggest Wizard of Oz fan, and that has definitely carried through to this day.
We just had a vet appointment and they told us that our dog's a little too chunky, so we needed to cut back a
Oh.
little on
It's
his
just
food.
like- it's
But
like-
he looks so good.
I
You're giving him a lot of
know.
love. You know what
I
type of
know.
dogs you have?
He's a Labradoodle.
Okay, cute.
His name is George.
George is a really
really
good dog
cute.
name.
When did you get him?
Pandemic dog. I got it at the end of
Okay.
2020, right at the end of shooting the Evan Hansen film. I was like, we need a dog.
Yeah. I
Um,
keep saying I want a dog, but like it
Was
would be
Evan
weird.
Hansen shot in 2020 during the pandemic?
It was.
my
It was in
Jesus.
September of 2020, so it was like the first
Okay.
or second major production of any kind that went
That must
during
have just
COVID.
been
Yeah, what was that filming process like?
the most
Like,
tedious filming
terrible.
process.
I mean,
yeah.
it was but before we should like knew how to handle that, and also everyone was already scared, and the vaccines weren't totally out yet, and it was like intense bubbling and not allowed to go anywhere. Like it was just
Yeah.
like really dreary and intense, and in a story that's already very dreary and intense.
Yeah.
So like not the best, but
Yeah, but you really had to be like the guinea pig for it with
Yeah.
that one. It's
Phenomenal
tough.
movie.
Yeah.
It was great.
thanks. That's nice.
I mean, but speaking of Elle Woods, what are your thoughts on Legally Blonde the musical? Because I still think
adore it.
okay, it's one of my favorite musicals.
I think
of all
it's a
time.
fantastic adaptation. It's my husband's favorite musical. That and Shrek the musical.
Me and
Shrek.
Noah have a lot
do.
in
You guys need
common.
to hit- you need to
Raid
geek.
and Legally Blonde the musical.
You have similar
so-
tastes. He's half Jewish, half Italian. So,
Okay.
so I think it's fantastic. I think
Yeah.
we need another round of it. I think we needed to come back. I don't think it was
I've never
properly
seen it. But there
But
appreciated.
there was so much hype.
It's a really
It's
good
really good,
adaptation.
Joe.
It's like
You
it
would
takes
love
all it's just like the camp levels are high. It's smart. There's great wordplay. It moves quickly. There's some absurdity and like weird shit. Like it's just
There
I
was a
think it's great.
reality show, Search for the
Search
Next
for-
Elle Woods.
huge
Like
for
I
that.
remember
Canon.
seeing.
Yeah.
I forgot who won it. But I was
Bailey.
Bailey. Yes.
Bailey Hanks. Did I make that up?
Whoever it was, whoever won, I immediately went to go see on Broadway because like
course.
that's how much it meant to me at the
I scoured for
time.
bootlegs because I wasn't in New York. So
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I saw it for you.
thank you so much.
Yeah, and the longest known on Broadway at the time, right? For
But I really loved Autumn, who came in second,
Mhm.
and I just saw that she was standing by on Broadway for the lead in Tammy Faye. So I was thrilled to see her still thriving.
Oh wow.
I did see that in the because I just saw Tammy Faye.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Now it's no longer going to be on Broadway.
I missed it, unfortunately.
I also missed it.
Listen, I thought it was fantastic, and that wasn't the response from everybody else. But
Okay.
you know, at least I enjoy art. There you go.
I'm
You know,
glad.
I
I've heard a
enjoy
lot of
art.
people that enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoy art.
What show on Broadway right now are you loving? What's like your favorite right now?
Oh.
Yeah, what should we see?
I mean, if you haven't seen Oh Mary, you should definitely see Oh Mary.
We haven't seen
It
O'Mary.
pisses me off
One
so
of the
much
best
that we haven't
things
seen it.
of the decade. It's
Yeah.
just
So
incredible.
it's embarrassing.
Like
we
following
haven't
Cole
seen it.
for like a decade and then still
Yeah.
not seeing that
They
show
are
is crazy.
so unbelievably genius in it, and also the writing is so brilliant, and it's just like can't be overhyped. Like I've been 3 times now.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
Love.
So that's up here, and then after that, I would say Death Becomes Her. I don't know if you are
Yes,
fans
saw
of the
it.
film
I
at
saw
all.
it.
Incredible.
You saw the musical?
Yes.
I thought it was fantastic.
It was like one of the best shows I've. I mean, like It was so fucking. I took my mom. We were
Both
both
women I thought
gagging.
were spectacular.
Yeah.
Like really hilarious.
And as like a smash head, like getting like that was I think my first time
Megan.
seeing Megan Hilty
Yeah.
on stage ever.
And after Kristen was my favorite Glinda on stage. So
Yeah.
you know,
really
she is
she
amazing.
really killed it. It was so fucking good. I saw Gypsy last night.
Oh, I'm going on Tuesday, so I don't want to ask, but
I mean,
worth seeing.
definitely
Okay,
worth
okay,
seeing.
okay, okay,
Definitely
okay,
worth
okay.
seeing. Yeah.
We'll have to
Yes.
compare notes.
We'll circle back.
What else? Baby Happy Ending is really great. It's
Oh.
the original. It's like a totally from scratch original musical, which is always like
nice to see.
thank God.
Yeah.
And it's Michael Arden directing it, who directed me in Parade and at the
Nice.
Palace, and he's really brilliant. And it's about these two like obsolete, sort of extinct robots who like have to figure out what to do with their lives now that they're not needed by human beings, and they sort of fall in love with each other. And it's like really beautifully rendered in terms of like it's probably the best like marriage of like a human story and like romance with like a technological advancement in a that I've seen. Like sometimes over teching in shows like it takes me out of the like human connection.
Yeah.
But this is so beautifully like tied.
Ooh,
it's
right.
really great.
Okay,
Highly
adding it
recommend.
to the
Adding it to the list. Yeah, we've been really seeing a lot of musicals
Yeah.
lately. I don't know. We got into the musical PR list somehow. We were
I mean,
talking
it's a good
about,
list to be on.
It's
we
a
were,
great list
yeah,
to be on.
yeah. We had one episode that we were saying that we were repressed theater gays, and I think that actually spiraled to be
Into-
like, maybe we should get you
We're
to
no
some
longer
theater.
repressed.
Yeah, no,
We beat the
we don't
repression
know. We're
ac-
just theater
allegations.
gays, and
Yeah.
there's
Good.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Everybody is in some way, no matter how closeted
I
it may
agree.
be, how deep down it may be.
It really is true.
There is a show for you.
And there's
Yeah.
if there's ever a negative connotation to a theater gay, I don't want to be near that person.
Nor do I.
Well, I
No.
do think those people are actually people.
Just
They are theater
repressed.
gays. Like, because that
Yeah,
was
they are.
me for sure. I was for
Yeah.
sure someone who was like, I would never be a theater gay. And like, looking at the background, looking at the material, I'm like, I was doing Defying Gravity at 8.
Yeah.
Like,
Of
I
course.
was always the theater gay. I just could not accept it.
It was in there.
Yeah, it
And
was
there's-
always there.
And listen, there's a lot of terrible theater, just like there's a lot of terrible film and a lot of.
Right.
So like, it's just about going with
Yeah.
someone who can bring you to the right shit.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
go with. I think I need to also go with somebody who understands theater on a deeper level, because I see these shows. I just inherently like love everything. I guess because
Well,
I'll
that's a
see show-
beautiful.
I guess
attitude.
that's a good thing, and I
Yeah.
guess I don't need somebody who's going to be like,
Bring it down.
yeah,
I
You
tend
actually already
to
have
err
one
on the
of
side
those.
of liking most things, and Noah is incredibly harsh and critical. He's also very smart, but he is very critical. So we tend to even out nicely in terms
Okay.
of our reads on things.
that's nice. I feel like
I
that's
think we've
us.
gotten to that point.
We've definitely evened out.
Yeah, because at one point it was I hated everything I saw, and
Sure.
that was I think again I don't know what that was, but now I've just
A
seen
rut.
so many things, and now
Yeah.
I love it all. So
Good. Well, this is a really strong season so far.
it
like
is a
it,
really
it does
strong
ebb and flow.
season. Yeah.
Good children to the guidance office.
Why did I miss it? It's okay. That's okay. Okay, so we have 2 voicemails. This one is from someone we actually know.
Okay. Hi, good children. Hi, Ben Platt. This is Rachel Weiss-Levin. Y'all already know. Okay, so this question could bring up some group discussion, but it is for Ben. If you could cast yourself, Joe, and Andrew in a musical together, which one would it be? Thank you so much.
Wait, that's a really good question.
That's Rachel being a journalist.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is On the Town. I don't know if you know that show, but it's about
No.
3 sailors who are docked in New York for one night of like craziness before they go back out to sea.
Wow.
And it's like a 24-hour shenanigans musical, and they each like have a little like crazy like New York night where they like have a tryst with the girl. We can turn it all into queer stories,
Oh
obviously.
my god, yeah.
And then they like come back together and they do like dance numbers as a trio. Like I feel like us as sailors could be really cute.
Like, really, we would serve it down.
That shows your catalog in your
Yeah.
head there, because that was,
That was
so
quick.
fast, and it was the perfect answer. That was incredible.
And you know what we're doing tonight is we're gonna learn the music.
On the Town.
And
Well,
the next
so
time we
right.
see you,
There's
we'll
the
be like,
opening song is New York, New York, it's a hell of a town. You ever heard that song? The
No.
Bronx is
Yes.
up and the battery's
Oh.
down. It's
no.
it's Leonard Bernstein.
Okay.
He wrote West Side Story.
What are their names? Now now it's just actually
One of
become
them's
a
played by
quiz.
Frank Sinatra in the film.
Okay.
Okay,
I forget the
perfect,
character names
perfect.
at the moment.
Okay.
So that's my initial answer. The only other one I could think of is like Seussical. I feel like we would fuck up.
we
Stop.
would
Seussical has a deep
Sus-
cut reference for us.
Yeah.
Seussical's a big one.
Was
Who would you be in Seussical?
Probably. I mean, depends on like what the type of production is. I could do Cat in the Hat, but that's sometimes now is like a woman or like a non-binary person, which I think is great. I could do Horton.
Yeah.
That's the thing I like about it is that like we could also do it in rep where we like trade parts. You know, like
Right.
Laura
True.
Linney and Cynthia Nixon on Broadway like switching roles every night. Like we could do that. You guys could be like Wickersham Brothers. You could
Love.
be one of you could be Amazing Maisie.
Amazing Maisie. That was a big one.
We saw this 6th grade.
It was like our middle school production that we saw, and we were like,
Absolutely.
that is
We
the
were in
best
5th
thing.
grade,
We were in
though.
5th grade watching the middle schoolers do it, and it was like,
Absolutely.
this is theater. We
Yeah.
finally
We
finally
left.
get to see theater.
We're
Yeah.
finally being transported.
Yes.
No, literally, and we
To
left.
Whoville.
We left that day, and we went right back to your house, and we said,
Got
"Put
to work on that one
Seussical."
too. Yeah, that's so.
Seuss. Yeah.
That one's another one that, if in the right circumstances, could get a little resurgence, and
I would
be front
agree.
row.
if it did. Yeah,
Legally
Um,
Blonde first, though. We just need to find an L.
Okay.
they should reboot the show.
Oh
That
my
would
god, the
actually
search
be
to get
incredible.
the.
Search for the next album.
Why is nobody doing
We're
it?
gonna make
Yeah.
a few calls.
Because
That's
people are
exactly
talking
what it
about
is.
constantly.
Yeah.
Like it's still
That's
on the air.
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's like an updated, like full reality show version of Search for the Next Elle Woods, and that's the person who stars in the revival of
Yes.
Legally Blonde musical.
Wait,
Let's get to
we're
work.
onto something crazy.
Yeah, let's get to work on that one.
All right, we're making a few calls.
Is there a show, like, before we get to the next call, like, is there a role that you haven't done yet that is like your complete dream role?
George and Sunny in the Park with George. Do you know
Okay.
that show at all? It's a Stephen Sondheim. It's sort of
Okay.
his opus, in my opinion. It's like the show that he wrote that's like the most about himself. It's
Mhm.
about this. It's about this painter George Seurat, who is like an impressionist painter, and it's like a fictionalized idea of what his life might have been like. And it's sort of the grand theme throughout is like the things that you sacrifice in order to love your art, and like
Okay.
how you sort of have to live somewhat in your head, and like that it brings a lot of challenges to your personal relationships in order to really love what you do. And like it's just a role and a score and a show that I've like since my whole life have wanted to do. So that will definitely, I'm trying to be patient and do it like at the right time with the right situation, but certainly before I die, I will do that.
I love that.
Okay.
It's your Ariana Glinda moment.
It really is.
That is.
Is it on? No, it's not.
Not right
Oh,
now.
no, okay.
There was a revival like 7 or 8 years ago with Jake Gyllenhaal, and then
Okay.
there was a revival like another 5 or 6 years before that, and the original was in like the 80s.
Okay.
Was
It was
there-
Mandy Patinkin was the original guy to play it.
Did
Obviously,
they do it
icon.
recently somewhere?
The,
like-
the most recent one I know about is the Jake Gyllenhaal one, but maybe.
Was there like a Dove Cameron Sunday?
Oh, the Light in the Piazza.
That's-
which I also
those
saw. Also
words,
beautiful.
The adjectives and nouns were similar. Sunday in the Park, Light in the Piazza.
Both very lyrical shows.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the one that I would love to.
Okay.
to
Well,
check.
it's happening now.
Yeah,
so
I
you
mean,
just
I
said
have no
it.
doubt that it will happen at some
Yeah.
point.
But I've been
Like,
like I saw recently there's a compilation of like every time I've been asked this question in interviews over
sure
the last like 8
constantly.
years, and it's just like me giving the same fucking
oh my
answer.
god! So when the TikTok compilation comes when you get
it's
cast,
it's
we're gonna
literally
be
ready.
in
Someone
it.
already made it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's so exciting
crazy.
for us.
I can't wait to
It's
see
very
it.
amazing. Okay, I'll do the next call. This is going to lead us into some deeper discussion on shows, I can imagine.
Hi, Joe, Andrew, and Ben. This is Kiera from Seattle calling to ask you to play Fuck, Marry, Kill with some musicals. So, Fuck, Marry, Kill, Legally Blonde, Wicked, and Hamilton. Feel free to pick your own musicals instead of the three
So
I
that's what
gave.
we're
That's
gonna
actually-
Huge
that-
fans of you all.
destroy my
Bye.
Those,
reputation.
yeah.
Well, we
Well,
could
this
always-
compilation too.
It's kill in the most I have no other choice way.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So it
Those are
was-
3
a
titles.
tough I mean, I
one.
know
Legally
immediately what I'm
Blonde,
doing.
Wicked, and
Okay.
Hamilton.
I know immediately what I'm doing.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm fucking Legally Blonde.
Okay.
I'm marrying Wicked.
Without seeing Legally Blonde, I guess I can't speak to it,
Yeah.
but Wicked I would marry for sure.
Yeah, you
I
have
mean,
to marry
You
Wicked.
wife up.
Yeah.
And Legally Blonde is, I mean, they're all so good. That's like really, those are 3 really hard shows.
Yeah,
to
she
choose
picked
It's hard.
really
I just
tough
can't kill Elle
choices.
Woods. You know what I mean? Like I
You
could
can't
never
kill
do that.
her.
Yeah.
I can't.
Okay.
And like all those guys in Hamilton are already dead, so it's fine.
True.
Yeah, you're so right.
so, when you put it that way,
And a lot of them were horrible.
I
so
feel a lot better
it's
about
kind of
saying
like
it.
we were okay.
and then we have also
Yeah,
some
we
more.
have some of our own.
We're going to whip it out.
Oh, more combos?
Yeah, some more combos
Yes.
because we got that voicemail this morning
shit.
and we said this is actually. So we're really. This is actually this is the scariest part of the interview now for you
Uh-oh.
probably.
Yeah, this is like
Yeah, it was like so great.
easy
And then we're
until
like,
now.
actually, you're going to be like, actually, I would have killed this. And then it's going to break the internet. No.
We go
Gonna go
light in the
viral.
piazza.
Yeah.
Sunday in the park.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Moulin Rouge.
This is the musical.
This is,
Okay.
yeah,
Musical.
fuck, marry, kill these musicals.
Uh-huh.
Moulin Rouge,
Uh-huh.
Mamma Mia,
Uh-huh.
Jersey Boys.
I am going to
We could also be Jersey Boys.
I'm going to marry Mamma Mia.
Yeah,
I'm gonna fuck Jersey Boys.
yeah.
And I'm gonna lay to rest.
Yeah.
Moulin Rouge.
Thank you.
Well, I would definitely fuck the Jersey Boys.
If it was the Moulin Rouge film, that would be a different story.
like regardless of the musical.
No,
for
of
sure.
course. Yeah, just in general.
Right, just in general.
Maybe like 40 years ago, but yes.
40 years ago for sure. Well, yeah.
Now it might be tough. Now it might be difficult.
Yeah, it would
Well,
definitely
actually, for you, who's to say?
who's
You
to
never
say for
know.
me?
You have older taste?
I definitely have an older taste.
Great.
I skew older. But not like in the dating realm.
Is Jersey Boys Frankie Valli?
Yeah.
Frankie Valli.
I don't know if like Frankie Valli categorizes in your older taste if you've seen him recently.
No,
That's a tough visual.
I
Yeah.
would say that if I was to currently fuck Frankie Valli, that would be really brutal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
And that's the
okay.
thesis of the episode.
Yes. Phantom of the Opera, Rent, Into the Woods.
Oh. Mary Into the Woods.
Okay.
One of the greatest musicals of all time. Fuck, Rent, and Kill, Phantom of the Opera.
Good. Okay. I'll take that.
I was never like a real Phantom girly. I respect it. It's just like the operatic nature of it is not ultimately my
I
thing.
agree with that.
But
I need to
you know,
re-see
it
Into
did
the
great.
Woods.
It
Yeah,
ran for a
it-
long time.
For a very, very long time.
You've never
I
seen Into the Woods?
No, I've seen Into the Woods, but I don't think I've seen it in the right place because.
Have you watched the original, like the Bernadette Peters, the like recording of the real show?
No.
Okay, well that's
Okay, then
your
that's
assignment.
Lot of
it.
homework.
How long
Kid
is
you not,
it?
Monday
Because
night,
I remember
watched
it
it with
being
notes.
very long.
It is long,
It's
but
long.
it is brilliant.
It's amazing. Okay.
You watched it on Monday night?
Couldn't be better. I watched it in my bed with my husband on Monday night.
We do have a lot of homework, Joe.
Yeah.
We have to learn a whole music.
And you have to put together a pitch packet for the Legally Blonde.
I haven't
revival
stopped thinking about that.
No,
That's there.
reality show.
Yeah.
All right, you ready? Sweeney Todd, Cabaret,
Mm,
Hades Town.
mm. It's tough because those are in such different like echelons. I think Hades Town's a great show, but you know, I wow. Wait, so Sweeney Todd, Hades Town, and Cabaret.
Cabaret.
Oh, I'm marrying Cabaret.
Yeah, man, it's
again,
so
one of the
good.
greatest musicals of all time. One of the greatest musical film adaptations of all time too. I'm fucking Sweeney Todd because he's very hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's our last one.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm tired of rumors starting. Ben, what is your rumor of the week?
Lindsay. My rumor of the week is The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Yes.
It was a really strong week. I actually haven't watched last night's episode, but I'm talking about still reeling from the week prior, which was Mary Cosby's conversation with her son, which was really beautiful and intense. I'm Team Bronwyn. I'm loving her.
Okay.
My husband was much earlier on the cut than me. I've been catching up to how great she is. I just love these ladies. I love this show.
It's
It's an amazing escape from our world.
It's an
Yeah.
amazing escape from reality because they do not live in our
No, they
world
live in their
at
own
all.
sitch. A rich situation that they live in.
Yes.
Like, I don't even mean monetarily. I just mean like every time you think you've like seen the juiciest part, an entirely new family relationship opens up, or
Yeah.
like
They
find
somebody's
more
being
juice.
indicted, or like someone is changing religions. Like it is
Someone is being
crazy.
indicted. Yeah, for sure.
It's hard to beat. That show is just like keeps one up.
I really didn't tune into this season. I've tuned in religiously to the other seasons. It's like the only franchise I've ever watched.
I implore you once again
Okay.
to add another thing to your list.
Okay, so I'm actually just
Big
like,
night.
not
Big
gonna
night.
leave my apartment for
You have a
about
lot to do.
3 weeks.
Yeah, you've got a lot to do.
That's a great one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's the best reality show currently.
It's the only one that really keeps me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are yours?
What's your rumor this week? I haven't thought of one.
Me either. Have I already talked about like Water for Chocolate? Yeah, I
You
did.
already have.
But have you seen like Water for Chocolate?
Like water for chocolate?
Yeah, it's I don't know the Spanish translation, but it's a Spanish TV show on Max.
Okay.
On Max. It's like an original movie. I saw it in Spanish class once, but now they just started making the series, and it comes out every Sunday. And it's like this girl who like can't have this man because it's basically Cinderella. It's basically Cinderella, but she can like communicate through her food. Yeah, and put emotions into her food. So like she'll be like really sad, like cry into the food, and then everyone who eats the food is just like absolutely
Whoa.
miserable.
Love it.
Yeah,
I love a little magic realism.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that can't be my rumor of the week because it's already been my rumor of this week.
But it could be your rumor again.
Yeah.
Mine is I just finished reading the book Hawk Mountain last night. It's the first book I've read cover to cover probably in a year, which is sad, but it like was the first one that kept me going. It's like a gay thriller, like suspense, like high school flashbacks to adult, like current life,
Love it,
like
Hawk
murder.
Mountain.
Yeah, it was a very haunting, sickening, disgusting book. But I
Oh my
loved
gosh.
it.
Maybe
I
I'll.
recommend.
I need something else because I read Song of Achilles last month.
Oh
and it
my
was
god.
The greatest thing since sliced
Yeah.
bread.
Unbelievable.
So I can't bring myself to start any other book because it's not Song
Yeah.
of Achilles. So
This
maybe
is like
this
the
will help.
polar opposite of Song of Achilles.
So maybe this will. That's good.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
that's good.
Now
Song of
you
Achilles
have
is the
the
room of my
homework.
life.
No,
There it
have-
is.
Yes, Connor Habib, I think, is the author. It's a great book.
Love it.
Well,
Oh,
okay. We
guys,
finally
we
made
did
it
it.
here. Thank you
Sisters.
so much for
Rocket
coming.
power.
Yeah.
Wiggity, 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 wiggity.
Holding space.
Holding space.
Thank you
Wait,
so
give me
much.
your-
That's so good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Oh my
Thank
God,
you
of
for being
course.
here. Like, it's truly, like we said,
A dream.
a long-term dream come true, and it is so great to speak to you and hear more about the behind the scenes of your truly illustrious, insane career that we've
Thanks.
had the pleasure of watching for the past however many years.
Well, I love listening and watching to you guys. Brings me a lot of joy. So I'm happy to be here.
Thank you.
Thank
And next time we
you.
see you, we're going to be doing a musical.
Legally
Okay.
Blonde.
Legal-
Oh no,
well-
sorry. I'm so sorry. On the Town.
But
On the
if you
top.
want to do Legally Blonde, I'm ready.
We'll be EPing the reality show.
Yeah,
Of course.
a lot of work ahead of
You
us.
guys can host together.
Oh, perfect.
There you go.
Perfect. Okay. Well,
All
we'll
right.
get that down, and then until then, we'll see you next week.
Bye, you guys.
Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Don't forget to do your homework.
Like, comment, subscribe, rate, review. Send it to your friends. If you're a Ben Platt stan, send it to your friend that's a Ben Platt stan. If you're a musical theater fan, send it to your musical theater friends. All right? Write a little review, too. Love to see those reviews.
And don't forget, you can find us on Patreon every single Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a brand new bonus video episode where we are doing our homework for once. We are reporting on heavily researched topics that one of us is bringing to the table every single week, and the other is learning.
And
And we're finally learning something.
I would say we're putting our money where our mouth is.
Yeah, we are. Yeah,
You know.
we're putting our money where our mouth is, and we're putting a lot of other things near our mouths.
And don't forget, we are going on tour. We're doing 3 shows, all right, just for now. But we will see you February 19th in Indianapolis, Indiana. February 20th in Chicago, late show. February 21st, Madison, Wisconsin.
And you can find us across all social media platforms at Good Children Pod. I'm on Instagram at Joe Hegyes,
And I'm on Instagram at Andrew Muscarella.
and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Waving.
Waving.
Whoa. It feels disrespectful to do that.
Yeah, it felt weird, like, doing that without him in the room.
Yeah. It's like we were almost waiting to do it the whole time.
Like, he was so excited. Like, he watched this episode, and then that happened at the
He was
end.
like,
and he was like, oh.